What is going on, my Houston Texans family? First, I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas Eve. Hope you are spending it with family and having a great time. The Houston Texans are back at it tomorrow on Christmas against the Baltimore Ravens. Beyonce is performing at halftime. Let me know if you are going to the game, because me and the fam will be out there tailgating, having a great time. But when you look at this matchup, there is some history here. Last year, the Texans played the Baltimore Ravens twice, losing both those matchups. The Houston Texan offense didn't even score a touchdown in either of those games. This is the Houston Texans' opportunity to get their last big win of the season before they head into the playoffs. I am going to give you my keys to victory for tomorrow's matchup. But before we do that, this episode is brought to you and powered by BetUS, ladies and gentlemen. They're giving you a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, up to $2,000. On your second and third deposit, it's a 125% bonus. Promo code YouTube150 gets it done. Quick 24-hour payouts, 24-hour customer service. BetUS, where the game begins. And guys, do not forget, I drop daily Houston Texans content, so make sure you guys are following me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. My first key to victory is CJ Stroud coming out with that swarm mentality. As we all know, the Houston Texans have lost Tank Dell to a dislocated knee, torn ACL, and a lot more things. We want to wish him once again the speediest of recoveries. We saw CJ Stroud look entirely different after that, which was why he received a lot of criticism from not only Houston Texans fans, but the NFL world also, questioning his mental toughness. We need to see CJ Stroud come out here and be aggressive. If you see that pose that he always does like this, he's back. But this is a big game for CJ Stroud to show that he indeed is the leader of this team. You can give him a franchise and trust that he will represent it well. So I think not only for CJ Stroud, but this entire team to come out with that swarm mentality after losing Tank Dell, who's not only impactful on the field, but just as impactful off the field, a fan favorite here in Houston. This game will tell us a lot about this Houston Texans team if they come out there just dead and look like they don't want to be out there. If they do come out there ready to play football, that is where you commend your head coach, D'Amico Ryans. He got the boys ready. But this is my first key to the game, is making sure this entire Houston Texans team comes out here with that swarm mentality, ready to face one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL in Lamar Jackson, and one of the best running the football also in King Derrick Henry. My second key to the game, give Deontay Johnson the football. Now, this could potentially be a revenge game for him. Was just released by the Baltimore Ravens. Some fans have been asking, does Deontay Johnson even play in this game? I don't know, but I hope so. The Houston Texans are very thin at wide receiver, and I do not trust anyone catching the football besides Nico Collins. Robert Woods, Xavier Hutchinson, John Mechie, Dalton Schultz. I have little to no faith in those guys to be impactful tomorrow against the Baltimore Ravens. Deontay Johnson, you look at his resume. I mean, he has a season with 107 catches, 1,161 yards, 8 tutties, and 717 yards, 5 tutties. This season, he has a 122-yard game off of 8 catches and a touchdown against the Raiders, and he has a 6-reception, 78-yard, and 1 touchdown game against the Atlanta Falcons. He's been productive this year, and I just think he needs an opportunity to show that he can be a vital piece of an offense, which is why he was upset with his lack of targets with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, none of the reasons why I do like this Deontay Johnson move is because he is 28 years old. And when you start thinking about next year's wide receiver core, you would want Deontay Johnson as your 2, maybe 3 wide receiver. But I think getting him involved tomorrow against the Baltimore Ravens, seeing what he could do, what he could add to this Houston Texan offense is a need for tomorrow's matchup. Shout out to Deontay Johnson. I'm glad that he's a Houston Texan. Maybe he has a huge impact in tomorrow's game. My third key to the game is keeping CJ Stroud upright and him himself not turning the ball over. We can all agree that CJ Stroud has been inconsistent in year 2. This offensive line is a huge part of the reason why this entire unit has been shit all year. Once again, the offensive line will be Laramie Tunsil at left tackle, Titus Howard at left guard, Jared Patterson at center. I believe it will be Shaq Mason. If not Shaq Mason, Kendrick Green at right guard and rookie Blake Fisher at right tackle. Let's just keep CJ Stroud upright. Now, he was only sacked twice on Saturday against the Kansas City Chiefs. However, in the fourth quarter, on all of CJ Stroud's dropbacks, there was a pressure every single time he went back to throw the football, and that was brought to you by Cody Stout. Shout out to him. Protecting your franchise quarterback has been what we've been talking about since week 1. If you give CJ Stroud time to operate, we have no doubt he can make some amazing plays, right? He threw those 2 interceptions against Kansas City and then just an amazing, beautiful ball to Tank Dell in the end zone for the touchdown. Escaping to his right, looking across his body, finding Dalton Schultz in the end zone for the touchdown. CJ Stroud could mess up, but could also give you some magical moments. You have to keep him upright against the Baltimore Ravens. I know that their defense statistically hasn't been that well, but when you look at the history, and I mentioned this, we have not scored an offensive touchdown against the Baltimore Ravens with CJ Stroud as quarterback. On the defensive side, like our head coach DeMeco Ryans said, you have to play disciplined football. I am a big fan of Lamar Jackson. Before the Houston Texans drafted CJ Stroud, if you remember, I made a video saying if it takes 2 first-round picks to get Lamar Jackson from Baltimore, go ahead and do it. When it's all said and done, I think Lamar Jackson is going to be a top 10 quarterback of all time. He is truly special out of Lamar. Derrick Henry, he might be the last Hall of Fame running back in a long time. We have history with Derrick Henry. You also add in Zay Flowers, a dynamic wide receiver, 2 good tight ends, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. This Baltimore Ravens offense is a unit, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, it is spearheaded by the rushing attack of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. That's why when Derrick Henry went to the Baltimore Ravens, we said, duh, that's going to work. So the Houston Texans, who have been okay against the run all year, need to be disciplined. Because Baltimore can beat you on the ground. And when you think you have the ground game wrapped up, Lamar Jackson is gifted at throwing the football. I think he only has 3 interceptions this season. The weakness for Baltimore is definitely on the defensive side for them. So I wonder what type of game plan does DeMeco Ryans have for Lamar and King Henry. One thing I do like is Christian Harris is out there. If you remember in the playoffs, Christian Harris was having himself a hell of a half. He had a pretty nice 2 games against Miami and Kansas City. Let's see some more Harris County. But what I'm looking for from this DeMeco Ryans defense against Baltimore tomorrow, disciplined football, containing the edge. And I know it sounds dumb to say, but try to make Lamar beat you with his arm, and he's been throwing the ball fantastic all year. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your score predictions in the comments down below. I think this is going to be a fun one. The Houston Texans' last big challenge of the season. The Baltimore Ravens at home tomorrow with Beyonce performing at halftime. For more Houston Texans content, you guys know what to do. Feel free and follow me for more. This episode was brought to you and powered by BetUS. Quick 24-hour payouts, 24-hour customer service, where the game begins.